Steffi Forrester returned to Los Angeles carrying the weight of Liam Spencer's secret like a stone pressed hard against her heart, and from the moment her heels clicked across the marble floors of Forrester Creations, she understood there could be no more evasions. No more fragile silences. Hope Logan had to know that the father of her daughter was fighting a malignant, inoperable brain tumor that threatened to steal every tomorrow before anyone could bargain for even one more sunrise. Liam, stubborn as ever, begged Steffi to let him handle the confession in his own time, but time itself had become a rapidly tightening noose, and Steffi refused to watch another person she loved spiral alone into the dark. She found hope in the design office, surrounded by sketches and bolts of chiffon that suddenly felt meaningless, and without preamble, she delivered the terrible truth. Hope's first reaction was disbelief, her second a ragged cry of anguish, and then, as though lightning had scorched every lingering resentment from her soul, she crossed the room and clutched Steffi's hands. The rivalry that had defined so many of their days dissolved in shared devastation. For both women, supporting Liam eclipsed every old grievance, and within minutes they agreed that the only path forward was unity. Hope beside Liam for every medical appointment, Steffi organizing Spencer family meetings, both of them shielding Beth and Kelly until explanations became unavoidable. Word traveled quickly. At Il Giardino, Deacon Sharp nearly dropped a tray when he heard the news and later confessed to Brooke Logan that, in his view, Hope belonged at Liam's side not merely as a co-parent, but as the partner fate clearly intended. Brooke, rattled by the specter of losing Ridge to Taylor Hayes yet again, felt the floor tilt beneath her. The idea of her daughter reconciling with Liam while her own love story wobbled toward uncertainty left her fighting conflicting surges of hope and dread. Meanwhile, on the cliff house bluff where the ocean pounded with relentless force, Luna stood in Finn's doorway holding her breath against the tang of salt and regret. She reminded him that he was a healer, a man of fierce compassion, and surely that meant he could find room in his heart for the daughter now begging for a chance to belong. But Finn's jaw stayed set. Luna's past schemes, culminating in the ruthless maneuver to steal Will Spencer from Electra Forrester, were wounds still fresh, and Steffi's explicit plea that he cut all contact with the girl echoed like a warning siren in his head. Even so, Luna pressed on, insisting that families were forged precisely in the crucible of forgiveness, that Will needed stability no less than she needed guidance, and that Finn, of all people, could weave fractured shards into something whole. They were still locked in tense debate when Steffi arrived home, her eyes red from weeping with hope. The collision crackled with accusation. Steffi furious at Luna's audacity, Luna desperate for acknowledgement, Finn caught between vows to his wife and the blood tie awakening in his veins. In the aftermath, Luna fled to the only shadow deep enough to hide her turmoil, Sheila Sharp's apartment on the outskirts of town. Sheila, delighted by any chance to entangle herself in Forrester misery, offered counsel laced with poison. Seduce Will thoroughly, isolate him from Electra, and use the boy's confusion as leverage to draw Finn back whether Steffi approved or not. Every minute Luna spent in Sheila's orbit widened the risk that Deacon or someone equally alert would glimpse them together and report the alliance, but desperation smothered caution, and Luna listened. During the week of May 5th, Liam fought dizziness, blinding headaches, and the cruel knowledge that modern medicine had little to offer. He summoned his father to the Malibu house and, voice quavering, laid bare the prognosis. Bill Spencer listened in silence until rage cracked his composure. No disease would claim his son without a battle funded by every dollar, every favor, every sleepless night Bill could muster. Within hours, he ordered his corporate team to locate experimental protocols from Zurich to Seoul, therapies so cutting-edge even John Finnegan had only read preliminary abstracts. Finn, summoned to review reams of data, admitted the odds were infinitesimal, but Bill's glare brooked no surrender, and Hope, sitting beside Liam with her hand anchoring his, whispered that miracles sometimes bloom in unlikely soil. Back at Forrester Creations, Hope's unannounced reappearance in the executive suite jolted HFTF into motion. Designs that had languished under interim leadership suddenly sparked with fresh urgency as she channeled her fear for Liam into fabrics that seemed to breathe. Thomas Forrester, watching from afar, felt a pang of admiration contaminated by guilt, yet said nothing. This moment belonged to Hope and Liam, and even his lingering love could find no foothold amid the storm. While Bill mobilized international specialists, Ridge Forrester wrestled with a decision of his own. He had spent late nights confiding in Taylor, their shared worry for Steffi thawing old tenderness until an engagement ring burned a hole in his pocket. Brooke sensed the shift and tried to focus on supporting Hope, yet every time Ridge disappeared to take a quick call, dread coiled tighter. If he proposed to Taylor now while Brooke's family reeled, while her daughter might soon bury the father of her child, Brooke feared she would shatter, and still she knew love could not be coerced. Elsewhere, Luna shadowed Will with a calculated patience that belied her turbulent conscience. Elektra's refusal to move the relationship fueled Will's frustration, and Luna used gentle sympathy, soft laughter, and stolen glances to erode his resolve. The more time they spent together, the less Will mentioned Elektra, and Luna sensed victory approaching even as Sheila pressed for faster results. Yet one careless moment at Il Giardino, Sheila adjusting Luna's scarf just as Deacon rounded a corner, almost exposed everything. Deacon's eyes narrowed, suspicions kindled, and Luna fled before he could interrogate her. As the second week unfolded, Liam's symptoms intensified, tremors in his right hand, fickle vision that flickered like faulty fluorescent tubes, memories skipping in disorienting bursts. Still, he dragged himself to Spencer Publications for what he called legacy planning, outlining financial structures to protect Beth, Kelly, and even Douglas in case Hope faltered. Bill choked on each sentence, but forced composure, determined to prove a cure waited just beyond the next consultation. Steffi, in turn, coordinated logistical triage, school pickups, counseling appointments, strategy sessions with Hope about gently introducing the concept of illness to Beth. United, the women became an indomitable shield, and their newfound solidarity radiated across the Forrester corridors, dampening gossip that once thrived on their rivalry. Yet in private, Hope battled terror, how to face nights when Liam's breathing hitched in sleep, how to keep smiling for Beth, how to believe when every skin glowed with the merciless certainty of a ticking clock. Bill's relentless search finally uncovered an ultramodern immunotherapy trial in Geneva, but enrollment required a grueling barrage of pretests and the faintest sliver of compatibility. Liam agreed, grasping at the lifeline, and preparations began for urgent travel, medical passports, legal clearances, a contingent plan for remote schooling should treatment extend months. Amid this whirlwind, Brooke cornered Ridge in his office and asked point-blank whether she had already lost him. Ridge, blindsided, swore no formal proposal had been made, but his hesitation revealed more than words. Brooke walked out with tears she refused to let fall until she reached her own car. That same night, Luna met Will at the beach house he shared with friends, candlelight painting illusions across their faces, and when she finally crossed the line Elektra would not, the betrayal was sealed. Unknown to them, Finn, driving home from a late shift, spotted Luna's car and followed an instinct he could neither name nor stifle. The tableau he witnessed through the patio window shattered him, his daughter entwined with the younger Spencer heir, the entire scene reeking of manipulation. Finn left without confrontation, but fury simmered. certain to ignite once circumstances forced Luna back into his sightline. By May 16th, the storm fronts converged. Liam and Hope boarded Bill's jet for Switzerland, clasping hands as though grip alone might tether Liam to life. Steffi watched the plane ascend, her own future clouded by the looming explosion of Luna's duplicity. Ridge stood behind her, silent, wishing he could erase every sorrow he had ever ushered into his daughter's days. In Los Angeles, Brooke stared at her reflection and wondered if Ridge's ring would ever circle her finger again, or if destiny had decided one Logan heartbreak per generation was insufficient. At the same moment, Sheila poured wine in celebration of Luna's apparent success, oblivious that Deacon had already begun pulling phone records and CCTV clips, chasing proof of whatever scheme slithered beneath the surface. Above the Atlantic, Liam closed his eyes, letting Hope's whispered promises chase away the rattling engines and the fear thrumming in his veins. Whether the clinic in Geneva offered salvation or only a kinder descent into goodbye, he would face it with the woman who, despite every fracture, still believed in him. And somewhere inside the vast tangle of Forrester and Spencer destinies, a single fragile truth shimmered. In the crucible of impending loss, love and rivalry alike melt down to reveal who every character truly is, and in the weeks to come, that revelation would spare no one.
Oh,